Hey, what's up, guys? Good to be back with you again. We're taking on Pago Youth here, who are in fourth place. We are still in second place here after three matches, and let's see if we can figure out a way to win this one. And let's see what happens. Boy, some of the players of the team apparently don't like what plans we have here going into this one. We have Chris Famuana up front along with Petu Poli, so a slightly different team. Afa is going to be back on this team again, but we're going to have to hope that we get a good performance from him. Ikuvalu is going to be back in goal too. We better go over here and win this game is what I'm about to tell these players. We need to win. We need to win basically everything from here on out. One of the problems that we have is that there's only 20 games in the season. So losing a game as we did before really makes things difficult for us. Kangun Chul, by the way, was on our team for a little while, and I cut him because I wasn't very impressed with the sort of player he turned out to be after we signed him. So we'll see if he causes us to regret making that decision. Let's see what happens. There's always some sort of interesting storyline going on behind the scenes. And it is Kangwon Chul who ends up starting this off with the kickoff. And let's see if we can get this ball off of them. And there it is with Moy in the back. So if you haven't seen yesterday afternoon's video, we made a couple of tactical changes to try to stop these guys from taking shots from the middle of nowhere. Let's see if it had any positive effect or not. First, we have to get the ball out. And it looks like we've just about done that. But we need to do a little bit better here on defense. Ledoux ends up knocking that over to Petu Poli, who's got everybody beat, and he's got a man right there. Does he see him? Is he going to cross it? Where's that cross? And there it is. It comes a little bit too late. Chris Famuana takes the shot from point-blank range and knocks it back into the 10th row. So that was a little bit frustrating, a little bit upsetting. Petu Poli really should have crossed that over a little bit more instead of doing that little 360 kick. The cross ended up being a good one, and unfortunately the finish on the other end was not quite good enough, but I do like what I see there. And Lele has it and lumps this forward again to Petu Poli, and oh boy, he's behind the defense. And he sort of lumps that one forward. That was kind of an odd way to go there. I think that he would have been a little bit better off if he had taken a direct route to goal instead of trying to run around everybody. It's Moy with this here, and he knocks it forward for Famuana. And Famuana passes up for Afa. Let's see if we can get something going. We need a good match from Afa, who's been really inconsistent. Petu Poli with it now. Lumps it forward there for Famuana, and it's in there for the goal. They're going to call this back for offside, though I could tell because they didn't even tell us if that was his first or second goal of the season. I think that was his first. And yeah, he's offside. It's pretty clear. It's pretty clear, and that's how we got so open. Good idea, but didn't quite work out the way that we wanted it to, and it's still 0-0. And it's Ikuvalu who makes this save, and he's going to distribute us short, thank you, to Tamoa, who then lumps it forward for Petu Poli. So, at least we don't have the goaltender lumping it forward. We just have every other player trying to lump it to the front and not understanding how to play a team game. So, Famuana with it now over to Petu Poli, and he knocks it forward to Afa, of all players, back to Petu Poli, a little give and go. And then he does the same thing again, where he really had a good position for a cross, and instead of crossing, decides to hold back and wait. So we have some problems. Afa had it here over to Petu Poli, and he should have passed that first time because the defense wasn't there. And instead, he kind of faffs around with it a little bit, and then he finally gets the pass over, and nothing happens in the end. Famuana ended up fouling the defender who was on him, and still couldn't get to the ball anyway. And so it's a wasted opportunity, and we waste a good chance. And have to hope that we can get back onto it. Ikuvalu ends up catching this one. Looks like the center fielder there, making the catch over to Poasa. Poasa knocks it over to Famuana, over to Ledoux. Ledoux lumps it on forward for Afa. Afa's got it, passes to Petu Poli, and that's in for a goal, but he's offside. Offside again. It was Afa who was called for offside. My apologies. Petu Poli, I think, was onside, but Afa was the one who was off. And so we're still hoping that Afa, who's supposed to be a star player, actually gives us a star performance. It's been a long time since we've seen a really good performance from him, and he wasn't showing it there. And I'm afraid that he might not last through the end of halftime. We've had some problems playing him, and he's also not been training well. And if we have another bad match from him, I might just release him or put him back on the under-18s. It's probably what we should do. I think he's only 16 years old. So we put him on the under-18s and let him cook for a little bit longer. As Chwalele, who wins this one and locks it back over his head to the opposition player. Ledoux ends up heading this one also to an opposition player, and we almost give up one of those goals hit from far range. So not quite what we wanted to see. and we're still having some problems and need to get this ball back. We do win it back, sort of. They do over to Topui. Topui with it. Passes it for Famoana. Everybody misses the header. Chris ends up getting it and then shoots it and scores. That's his first goal of the season, and there's no flag up. So as you can see, I don't know what this is. No, this is their coach who's thrusting his arms about and who's very upset with what happened. This was pretty ugly all around, but Chris Famoana gets the angle, and I don't know what the goaltender was doing. He's kind of taking a nap over there. I don't know if he was checking his phone or what was going on. 1-0 for PanSa East FC, and this is the way that we like to start it. It goes over everybody's head again, and it's back to Topui, who lumps it forward looking for Famoana and finds him, and he's behind the defense, and he should have scored that. That was just off to the right side. He really should have scored that one, but it's all right. It's all right. We want to see him taking shots and chances like that, looking a lot better here after those small tactical changes. The other pass is there to Famoana, who's got to cross. Now he crosses backwards to Ledoux over to Petupoli, and that was almost a goal. Man, Logo had to make an amazing save on that one to prevent that one from going in. So we're looking pretty good now. But again, as I said, Off is having a poor match, and we're going to have to take him off. He's a big part of the reason why we're not playing better and why we're not up by more by a higher margin. So we will go ahead and auto-size all the columns again because for some reason we have to do that. Xavier is going to come back on, the guy whose first name I keep forgetting. Moe is really, really tired, having kind of a poor game, so we're going to put Zion Moala on for him. I know that he's playing out of position, but that's just the way it's going to be. And I think we'll probably just keep it like that for the time being. Now let's see what happens. Famoana over to Petupoli to Taumoa. Over to Puasa. Puasa lumps it forward for Famoana and can't quite find him. And there's that man, Kang Gunchul, with the ball over to their Milani, back to Kang Gunchul. And he's the one I worry the most about because he actually might have an axe to grind with me for releasing him. Famoana takes the shot, and it's over everyone's head and into the crowd behind the goal. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens. This is knocked forward here now to Petupoli. Petupoli with it, and he, again, kind of messes around with it a little bit instead of taking the ball and doing what he should do with it. The second time around, though, he does find Chris Famoana, who has a shot on goal. Now, that forces a good save from their goaltender again, but at least it was something. Ledoux here with the corner, steps back and fires, and just can't quite find his man, and there it is with Xavier, whose name I remember this time, over to Ledoux. Ledoux over to Petupoli, can't quite find him, and he's offside anyway. No, Ledoux was the one who was offside. Interesting. Looked to me like Petupoli was actually the guilty party, but it doesn't matter either way. Toilele gets it and knocks it over, but can't quite find anybody. And it ends up being another attack for them. And we've got to make sure we get this out of the danger area. And there's Petupoli with it over to Xavier. And Xavier knocks this one around a little bit over to Tamwa to Petupoli. Petupoli will not quite find Famoana. And, I mean, that's the way that we want to play. We want to work it into that box, but now we have to get back. And, boy, that's dangerous. Boy, that's a dangerous tackle to make. Fortunately for us, their shot ends up going over everyone's head, but this is starting to get me a little bit worried. This is getting me a little bit worried here, and we need to have a little bit better performance here if we want to win this match. Only 1-0 with the lead, and I'm a little bit concerned. We got about 20 minutes left to go. And here's a throw in from Topui over to Ledoux. Ledoux over to Sasala. Sasala looking for Xavier, and he's just not tall enough to get to that one. Logo ends up grabbing it, and that's what we want to see. We want to work it into that box. And Toilalele, fortunately, is able to get onto that one. Knocks it forward looking for Xavier. Ends up with Petupoli over to Xavier now. Back to Toilele over to Petupoli. Petupoli over to Tamoa. Chris Famoana over to Ledoux, and he's got to score. And, oh, man. He's got to score that one, and it's just a poor shot at the end. But it was worth the effort. This was a good effort by our guys to make something out of nothing, and we forced, again, a really good save by their goaltender, Logo, who's having a pretty good game. We're making him have a good game because if not, this would be a 6 or 7-0 margin for us. Here's that pass forward over to Petupoli. He passes to Chris Famoana, who gets the second goal of the game. 2-0 for PanSa East FC. I don't know, as I said yesterday, I don't know if that's really going to put this result beyond doubt or not, but at least it's something to see and something to cheer about. 2-0 for us. That makes it a little bit easier, and I can sleep a little bit easier at night now knowing that Famoana can hit shots like that with his toe. Man, that was pretty. 2-0 PanSa East FC, and that is exactly what we want to see happen. Now, we got about 15 minutes left in this one, and we got to be careful that we don't get called for a second yellow card there, Tualalele. Their Kaleopa takes a shot and knocks that one over everybody's head. So as long as they do that, we'll be okay. Ikuvalu then distributes this again to the defenders, just like I told him to, and we work this up out of the back the way that we wanted to. Ledu passes this forward to nobody, but Famoana is almost there, can't quite get onto the front end of that. Here he goes, and he has it now over to Ledu. Ledu takes a shot from range, and that hits off the top crossbar and goes just out. I kind of didn't want us to take more shots like that from range, but if you're going to get that close, I think I can make an exception. Ikuvalu throws this one over to Topui with it, and he lumps this forward for Famoana. Famoana has it and takes a shot and just misses the hat trick. That was a good shot, and again, forced a really, really good save from their keeper, and here's Ledu with the corner. Steps back and fires, and it goes over there and is knocked out by Kangun Chul. I guess that's one way he can get his revenge on us, by preventing us from scoring a goal on a corner. Ledu here now. And this goes over to Tualalele, who ends up heading it just a little bit too high and a little bit over everybody. And it'll go out for a goal kick. Still 2-0 for PanSa East FC. And it's getting a little bit worrisome here. I hope that we can do something to win this one. Ledu just can't get control of that ball. And this is lumped forward to Tualalele over to Puasa. Puasa knocks it forward himself over to their defender. And now this is passed forward over to Famoana, who finally gets control of it, lumps it over to our man on the left side, and this ends up being misplayed by their goaltender. Unfortunately, we're not quite able to capitalize off of that, but that was a pretty interesting misadventure, I think, from both sides. Moala ends up with the ball and the throw, takes a step back, waits a little bit, now throws it over, gets it back, and it's up in the air for really anybody, and Ledu with it. Yeah, this is getting pretty amateur, isn't it? And that will be the full-time whistle. I'm not quite sure what kind of opportunity that was at the end that we had, but we win the match. We don't quite win possession, but we have 15 shots, 8 on target, 1.87 XG, and we definitely look like the better side the whole way through. So a win is a win, and that's the first clean sheet I think that we've had all season, and we'll see how it goes from here on out. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.